Hey friends, welcome to today's episode of Friend Fusion. I have a question for you. Why are you afraid to act on it? What's keeping you from living the life that you're no longer enduring but enjoying? Why haven't you started turning those thoughts into actions? On today's episode of Friend Fusion, we will discuss what it means to start living a life that you enjoy and not just one you endure. How we turn our thoughts into actions, our dreams into realities, and how we construct a life that we can live in God's grace, not just one day, but absolutely every day. Stay tuned for today's episode of Friend Fusion.
Friend Fusion, marker, and action.
Hey friends, welcome to today's episode of Friend Fusion. I'm super excited about this conversation today. Today's guest is absolutely beautiful, amazing, gracious, and I've had the honor of meeting her a little bit over a year ago, and I could not go without staying connected to her. And I think when you see today's episode, you'll understand why. I want to introduce to you actor, filmmaker, producer, shmoney maker, about to be inducted into the, I'm gonna let her tell y'all about all of that. Please do welcome friends, Jasmine Burke. Say hey friends.
Hi friends.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Jen.
I'm so excited about your recent success.
Thank you.
I just want to say congratulations to you. How are you feeling?
I feel really grateful.
Yes.
I feel really invigorated.
Yes.
You know, when new accomplishments happen,
Right.
it reinvigorates me. Oh, okay, I'm in this.
Yes.
Things are happening. Okay, keep going. I have
Yes.
energy for the journey. Keep
Absolutely.
going. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you were telling me that you have a film that's about to be inducted into, fill me in on this.
Yes, so a film I co-wrote entitled Let Us Make Eve. I also executive produced it and starred in it.
Nice.
Has been inducted into the Academy of Arts and Science
Love it.
Library.
Yes.
That's the Oscars, y'all.
Yes.
That's
Right.
the Oscars. Their library.
Let them know.
Yes,
Right.
yes. The
Yeah.
screenplay is
Yes.
being inducted into their library for people
Wow.
to study and reference. So I'm like, wow, something I wrote, my work is
Yes.
wow, being valued at that
Yes.
level is who would have thought?
Right. It's amazing. And I thought you'd be the perfect person to talk about acting on it, because not are you just an actor, but you are making success in your personal space, not just in your public space, but in your personal space. And I thought that you'd be the perfect person to just encourage us to act on it, to turn our thoughts into actions, to talk about, what it means to not just say we want something, but to do the work that it takes to really acquire that thing,
Yes.
So, I'm gonna start really, really simple today. So tell me something you were afraid to act on, but the outcome made you feel like it was worth it.
Something I was afraid to act on, but the outcome was really worth it, was my acting career.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
My acting career, because I didn't have a blueprint. I didn't know anyone in the industry. No one in my family was in the entertainment business.
What made you want to act?
When I was in elementary school, well, actually, my father told me that when I was really little, 2-3 years old, that at some family reunion, I just started busting out singing a Whitney Houston song.
Really?
And they were like, she can barely even talk. How is she
Right.
with all this energy and personality and singing this Whitney Houston song? And
Yeah.
he said to himself at that moment, there's something special about this child, because nobody taught me that. It was just in me, and it came out. And
Wow.
so in elementary school, when they said, we're having a school play, the Dr. Martin Luther King play, they were like, who wants to play Miss Coretta? I was
Right.
I do.
Most kids would be shy. You're
I
choose
wasn't.
me. Yeah.
I always just had that outgoingness about me, and it was, like I said, something that was in me. I didn't see it around me. It's just how God made me. And so I just kept following that.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what an acting career was. No connections in the business, no blueprint.
Right.
But in high school, middle school and high school, I kept being drawn to drama club. I kept being drawn to theater and the arts. And I was naturally being pulled. And so when I went to college, I had a full scholarship, full ride. But I got there, I was there for 2 years, and I said, you know what? I want to keep answering this pull inside of me.
Wow.
So I just leapt out there, and I don't know if leapt is a word, but
Right.
you know.
You just leaped out there?
I just leaped out there. Is that how we say it?
Just start over. Just
I just jumped. Okay, there we go. That's a word.
Okay.
I just jumped out there.
So
Just,
funny.
you know, made it happen and just followed like what was naturally pulling at me inside. you
Yeah.
know?
I'm proud of you for doing that because I think not enough of us actually do what we're afraid to do. So as a woman, why do you think it's important for women to turn their thoughts into actions?
Because we're incubators of life. Like we create. That's
Yes.
what we do. Our bodies are designed. Our whole makeup, who we are, our beings. We take a pinch of something and then we make a whole mound of it. Like that's what we're created to do. So it's like if we're not honoring that power that we have inside of us, then we're gonna feel like we're not doing what we're supposed to do. Like we're gonna feel that sense of shortness or inadequacy, like something's missing. Like I'm not, there's more, or like, you know, we're gonna feel it.
Yeah.
So it's like if we don't answer it and like operate in who we naturally are and created to be, we're gonna feel the inadequacy.
Yeah, you know what's funny? A lot of women don't believe they are a creative. But you're a creator.
Yeah.
You're creative.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, you're creative. So what is your advice to that woman who feels like, I'm not creative. I don't even know if I can turn a thought into an action.
If you have ever thought of a hairstyle, like a new hairstyle that you want, you are creative.
Yeah.
Like, it's that simple.
Yeah.
Like, we change our hair so much. Like, we say, oh, we want to do this, we want to do that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm going to wear this lip color today. Oh, no, I'm going to put on
So
this
true.
dress
So
with
true.
this shoe or with this purse. That's creativity.
Yeah.
That's like putting something together that wasn't there before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. So how would you say your life has changed since you began to do things scared?
Whew. You know, nobody talks about the other side of boldness, which is when you do take those leaps in life, that there's on the other side of it, there is a learning curve.
So true.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like once you get over that initial hump, there's going to be another curve.
Yeah.
But it's just like most people don't make it to the leap, and then some people get thrown off by the curve. So if you make the leap and the curve, you're going to get to the glory.
Yeah.
But a lot of us don't get to see it because we get thrown off.
Yeah, distractions.
By what comes with the territory. Like everybody's not a CEO.
Right.
Because everybody's not willing to take that risk.
Right.
Everybody's not willing to do that. Everybody's not made to be a CEO.
That's true.
Either.
That's
you
true.
know, so like some people, we were talking about that about acting. Like, everybody doesn't want to do
everything else. Yeah.
Right. Some people just want to act.
Right.
And that's fine.
Right. So I think too, as it pertains to boldness, that a lot of people have an idea of what they want, like they can see it, but a lot of us like the idea of having it more so than we like doing the work to have it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So how do you feel about that? What is something that you have done to consistently do the work to have what you want?
Ooh.
Because it's hard.
It
Like the
is.
work is hard.
Yeah.
We like the promise, we don't like the process.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But the work is where it's all at.
Yes.
The work is where it's
where you
all
get
at.
developed.
Yes.
That's where you learn, like you said. And for many of us, we really struggle with that. It's I don't know what it is for us, but there's a blockage there. It's like I want it, but I want to we live in this microwave mentality anyways. You know, everything quick, everything in a hurry. So, you know, we have our friends here watching. I'm sure some people are in a space where they're like, that's going to take a lot of me to do that. So what are some things you have done to consistently just make execution of your thoughts?
Well, just keeping in mind that if I don't do it, somebody else will. You know?
So true.
Yeah, because I've seen like a few ideas, right? That I've never even spoke out loud to anyone, but I was thinking them. And then I saw like a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later,
That same
someone
thing.
did it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could have did it.
You know what I like to say this, God is not just speaking to you. God is not just speaking to you. It's just that person that's willing to do the work, that's willing to execute. A lot of people think that there's just a special group of chosen ones, and there are a special group of chosen ones, but not in the sense that you don't have an assignment too.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
Because we just don't get out and execute and do it.
We don't execute and do
Yeah.
it.
So how did you feel when you saw these? You know, these ideas are either lucrative. You know, they would bring a change of life, change the trajectory of your life, your family's life. How did you feel?
I saw how many millions them people was
Yeah.
making.
Yeah.
And I feel mad at that. I feel mad at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
But you know what stopped you from moving in it?
Something in me feeling like how? Like how? Like, okay, this is such a great idea, but like how?
Yeah.
Like, where do I even start? Like, who do I call? Like, the how stopped me.
Yeah, that's so true. I've experienced that as well. Now I've gotten into a season, Jasmine, where I'm just like, you know, if God gives me this idea, God is also going to give me instruction for it, right? Because some things I just know. I say it just like this. I'm not even smart enough to be thinking what I'm thinking. Like I wouldn't naturally conceive this on my own. Like this thought, this is not me.
Yeah.
So what is it that God is trying to get to me? And I just kind of, you know, I got my group of people, my accountability partners. I'll ask God, who can I ask about this? Who can I talk to about this? And then He'll give me instruction, and we just kind of go from there. Even with starting this Friend Fusion, we're season 3 now. I've never done anything like this ever, and I've had great success in it. But the truth is, I had to start doing the things that I didn't even think were necessary to do. And those things developed me from, you know, being active on camera to talking, but all of that stuff that I was afraid to do because I'm going to stutter, I talk fast. Just a lot of things, a lot of variables that go into doing something new. You know, when we have new things, it just scares us because it's the unknown, the fear of the unknown. But actually doing something, and actually implementing something, God will consistently give you fresh things. But when you're not doing anything, sometimes we feel like, this goes back to us talking about people feeling like they're not creatives. When you're not actually executing something already, it's hard to get something from God because He can't trust you to move.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're not going to have anything to act on until you start acting.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I agree.
How you feel about that? You agree?
I totally
Yeah.
agree. Like, if you don't act, like,
Mm-hmm.
how is God gonna trust you with more? Like,
He can't.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It reminds me of like the story about the bridesmaids with the lamps, and like that being preparedness.
Yeah.
And like just keeping in mind that you do have to think ahead.
Yes.
And you have to be smart with where you are in the moment. But then also working with what you have in the moment.
Yes.
And not getting like so torn down about what you don't have and what you don't know.
Who you don't have.
Or who you don't
Right,
have. But,
right.
okay, what do I have? Okay, I have some oil and I have a lamp.
Yes.
What am I going to do with it?
Right. That's so true because it is so true. You said that, the fact that you said that brings something to mind. We often don't realize that God is not trying to give us something out of our means to do. Whatever He's telling you to do, you have the power to. You already have what you need.
Yes.
But sometimes it's so big, we feel like, what? Like, me? Do this? Like, you know? But then you sit back and you're like, that person is making millions of dollars. And I remember thinking that. Billions of dollars. I remember thinking that this person is having this kind of success, and I remember thinking that.
Yeah.
And God has had this way of confirming that He spoke to you. If you see somebody else doing something, you didn't even voice your idea. You didn't even voice what came to mind, but you see somebody else actually operating in it. God has a way of confirming that when He speaks to you, He's sure.
Yes.
So you don't have to, like, you know, we feel unsure, we feel unworthy, we feel inadequate, but when God speaks, He's sure. You know what I mean?
Very sure.
Absolutely. So that leads us to our next question, because a lot of people are afraid of the unknown, right? And you've dealt with a lot of unknowns in the acting industry, probably on a consistent basis, right?
The whole territory of it is the unknown.
So how do you deal with feelings of doubt, fear, and even anxiety?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Because being an actress, you're constantly subjecting yourself to validation from others to get jobs. The audition process is literally you putting yourself out there and saying, do you like it?
Yeah.
Is it me?
Yeah. Wow.
Do it like this? Do it like that? Oh, okay. Yeah, you're literally, putting yourself out there for that. So over time, over the years, it definitely wore down on my confidence, and I had a lot of doubt. When I first started, like that ignorance is bliss. Like you don't know, you're just going for it.
Yeah.
And then as the years went by and things started happening, I looked one day, I had to like literally stop and like take an inventory of my soul and my mind, my sanity.
Yeah.
And I realized I was not in a good place.
Wow.
And that the years of rejection and the years of that kind of stuff had really gotten to me.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize it because, you keep going. Like even if you're hurting, even if you're, you've been shot and stabbed, you're bleeding everywhere, but you're still running.
You keep going. Yeah. The way of life.
Yeah.
Society trains us to keep going.
To keep going.
Yeah.
And so I had to stop and realize, oh no, I am wounded here. And if I don't get a grip on this, I'm gonna bleed out.
Yeah.
So, that's definitely a tough one.
So what did you do after you realized and accepted that you're not in a good place? How did you get to the place where you're like, okay, I'm ready to heal, I'm ready to move forward? What are some things you did to just help you in that?
Well, I'm still in that, right?
Okay.
Because this was recent.
Got you.
That I had the epiphany. Oh, I'm wounded from all these years of everything that I've been through in the business.
Yeah.
And what I do is, it's like a mind reset, like a mental reset, like the renewing of my mind.
Yeah.
And doing that work
Okay.
on my mind, the renewing of my mind.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
So how would you say this experience in acting has affected your personal life?
Oh, greatly. Greatly. The main thing with men when they meet me, of course, they're attracted to the light. My personality, beauty, all these things.
Yes.
But then once we start talking about having a life together and like you being my partner and we walking hand in hand in this thing called life and you being supportive of what I do and being able to be confident and secure with yourself, walking next to someone like me that, is out there. Everybody's looking all the time. Everybody's always got something to say, when I'm on camera and I have to be, fake intimacy with a guy, like, can you sit there and watch me faking intimacy and still be secure
And not be in your feelings.
right?
Yeah.
And be like, oh, she's doing her job, like, and not like, why are you kissing him? That's hard for men to
You
deal
don't
with.
kiss me like that.
Right?
Have you ever heard those things?
Better.
Have you ever heard these things before?
I've heard little things like, you do that same kiss on me. I'm like, no, I don't. Like, no, stop, sir. Stop it, sir. I do not. Like, it was a room, it was like 100 people in the room, lights everywhere, and like, we're literally, turn your head this way. No, turn your head this way. Now turn it this way. Okay, now pucker up. Okay, now in action.
Yeah.
That's not love,
Right.
honey. There's no feelings involved, honey. This is a job, a craft.
Yeah.
But it definitely has affected my personal life because men, at first they act cool, and then once they get in it, they're like, no, their egos start getting. But I can understand.
Yeah.
As I've matured, I understand.
Yeah.
Like, how would I feel seeing my man?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I get it. I get it. And I've had people say, well, once you get married, are you still gonna do kiss guys on screen, like to make your husband feel comfortable?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's something me and my husband would have to talk about at that time.
Right. Because you got to do what works for your household. And it's a lot to... People have an opinion about everything, but their own situations. Yeah, so I love your answer in there. This would be what me and my husband come to terms with. But I can definitely imagine it affecting your personal life. I would say, as it pertains to personal life and acting, how have those skills helped your personal life, like improved your personal life?
They haven't.
They haven't. Your acting skills have never
No.
improved your personal life.
No, and people think that, right?
Yeah.
I've heard guys, oh, that's the other thing they say. They say, you're an actress, so how do I know when you're telling me the truth? I'm like, sir, you're not paying me right
Wow.
now. Like, I'm not on your clock.
Right,
Like, there's
right.
not a check at the end of this for me dealing with you, okay?
Yeah.
So what am I act for? That's a skill I have. It's an actual craft. I went to school. I studied. Like, I
Yes.
know how to make emotions on
But this
screen.
skill doesn't affect your personal life at all.
No,
Yeah.
because I don't know. I really don't know how to use it in my real life.
Got it.
People think it translates over. No, it does not translate over to
Wow.
real life. No,
Wow.
not at all. No, not at
So,
all.
is there anything you're looking forward to acting on in this season of your life?
I'm looking forward to acting on like some of those grander, like those like in the stars, the moon ideas that God puts in my mind. Those ones where I'm like, how?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to like going for those things.
Excuse
Acting
me.
on those things.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's really important for us to do that, like that big thing, that things that makes you like, you know what, I probably shouldn't do this. You should do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I found out that God is so strategic about what He gives you to do, and when you actually execute what it is He's giving you to do, and you see the manifestation of it, you're like, wow, like you use me to do this. It's an impact that I really cannot explain, but it's just something in being sure that God used you to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, seeing the results.
Yeah, seeing the results of it.
Acting on.
Yes. Of
things.
acting on the thought that He gave you. So have you ever had a thought that you acted on that you regretted acting on?
Oh yes. Oh,
Tell us
yes.
about an experience.
Ooh. Okay, so
Tell the friends.
Oh, friends. Let's see. Acting on. I regret acting on certain roles that I've chosen. Not understanding the responsibility of what comes with certain territories,
Got you.
and just doing it because you need a check. I regret acting on things for a check.
Yes, I get it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And in your regret, and with the result of whatever you acted on that you didn't necessarily think was the right choice after the fact, how did it affect you? Other than feeling like I shouldn't have did that for a check.
It affected me because I realized that I didn't even know my worth. And that's why I was,
Yeah, I get it.
you know what I'm saying? Acting on that in that moment for monetary reasons.
Yeah.
Like there's no check that could equate to my real value as a human being, as a soul. Like
Yeah.
there's no check. And like, so looking back on it, feeling like, wow, I didn't know my worth. I acted out of a place of no self-worth.
Yeah.
It was very hurtful to
Yeah.
my own self.
So what is your advice to the person who's struggling with it? Like it's not probably good for me, but it's a check. Like what is your advice to that person?
It's not worth it. It's really not, because you have to sleep at night, and you
Yeah.
have to sleep at night for the next how many years God is going to bless you with.
So
you
true.
want to be able to go to sleep in peace with yourself, wake up at peace with yourself,
Yeah.
walk around with your head up in the world, knowing that the decisions that you make, whether anyone agrees with it or not, you don't need someone to agree with you. You can make a decision that goes totally against the grain of everybody else. But if you made the decision from a place of knowing your value and worth, and you feel good about it, that's all that matters.
Yeah, yeah. So as it pertains to acting on it, and we've talked about every spectrum from acting on it to acting in faith, acting on things we should not act on. Let's talk about acting on things like friendship. How have you been able to do that in your industry? Because you know everybody's an actor, right? Everybody's a content creator. Everybody's a CEO. How have you been able to, within your industry, make genuine connections?
You know, it's hard to make genuine connections in the entertainment business. I mean, because everybody's in hustle mode. Like, unless like you really have a soul connection with someone,
Right.
it has nothing to do with the industry, has nothing to do with the work. It's just something about that person conversation you had with them, and you guys feel comfortable with each other. That's rare in the entertainment business.
Really?
Because everybody, like I said, everybody's in hustle mode. And so everybody's like, what can I get
highly
from you?
competitive, maybe.
It is competitive, but everybody's like on the hunt. Like, this is a hunter business.
Gotcha.
It's not a leisure business. Everybody's got a rifle and a spear or a knife or some mechanism to hunt.
Yes.
And everybody's hungry for fresh flesh.
Yeah, I get it.
And that's how it feels. So when you meet people, it's more like, what can we do together? Like, okay,
working together.
Yeah, what could you do for me? What could I do for you?
Got it.
And it's like, okay, nothing really? Okay, no problem. Cool, nice to meet you. See you on the next set.
Yeah.
That's the vibe.
Wow. So what is the greatest lesson you've learned since being in the industry? What would you say has been the best lesson?
The best lesson I've learned from the industry, I would say, that the industry does not define me.
I love it.
The industry could go away tomorrow. Who is Jasmine Burke? Like, separating the two, separating myself from that, and not having the industry be my identity.
Yeah.
Has been the best lesson.
Yes. I love that because, a lot of people, we get caught up in what we do, and we make what we do who we are. And it is so toxic.
It's so toxic.
It's so toxic. I think I've been guilty of that as well. Just thinking that, I'm a wife. I hope to soon be a mom.
Yes.
And other things. And we get these, and I'm just calling out roles.
Yeah.
But we get these roles that we fulfill, whether it is the teacher at work or whatever it is, the office manager, and you do it so much until it becomes who you are.
Yeah.
And once it's taken away, you see people who have like breakdowns, mental breakdowns, because they have identified themselves by what they do and or how they are, their role that they play in and out of relationships and so on. So I commend you for that. Congratulations on just that being your lesson. Like, I'm Jasmine. Yeah.
Regardless.
Regardless. Yeah. That's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
So we've talked about acting on everything now.
Yes.
You just had a birthday.
I did.
A big birthday. What are you looking forward to acting on in this season of your life, like right now?
In this season of my life, I'm looking forward to being my most confident, my most like ferocious and fearless, and it's like, this is my world.
Right.
Like, you're just trying to get in it. That type of attitude, not like, oh, I'm in the world and I'm looking for my place in it.
Yeah.
No, this is my world.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
That is what I'm looking forward to, just like living in, like, all the time. Like, this is my world. If you want to be in it, here's my boundaries. Here's what I like. Here's what I don't like. If you like it, come on in. If you don't, it was nice to meet you.
It's okay. It is okay. Yeah, I love that.
Just laying it out for people.
Right.
Because I didn't do that before. I didn't lay it out. I just accept it.
What was the result when you just accepted things? When you didn't act on it?
Disappointment, heartbreak, chaos, confusion, all that craziness, you know? And it's like, because I always was like scared of people's reaction to my boundary. Like, if I say, no, I don't like that, that doesn't work for me. Like, I was fearful of them saying, like, getting mad at me or not liking it or something. And then, like, they're not in my life anymore.
Right.
And I was scared of, like, losing people. Yeah. And I'm like,
but you were satisfying them and dissatisfying yourself.
Dissatisfying myself.
Yeah. And that's not the way we should live at all. I think if we're going to act on anything, I think, it's a topic of the world right now. Boundaries. Because few of us actually act on it. Yeah. We feel just like you described. We feel like they'll leave us. If I say no, they won't want to be in our lives. If I make them adjustment, they're going to feel some kind of way. But we cannot continue to live our lives satisfying everybody but ourselves. It does not. It does not serve us well, and actually, it doesn't serve the people that we love and do life with well, because they grow this sense of entitlement toward us because they expect us to show up in absolutely every way. Yeah. We do not have the capacity. They know that we won't say no, so they always come to us. Yeah. It's unhealthy. It's an unhealthy way to live, and I can only imagine how, like you you said, the disappointment, the heartbreak, the tossing and turning at night because you can't rest well, because you're living really outside of your identity.
Yeah.
When you feel something that you don't express, but you move in another way, you act in another way to get people to accept you, to validate you, you end up feeling suppressed. Yeah, you're not living in your true identity. And for a lot of people too, we think that if we have people's validation, that's all we need. But if you don't have self-acceptance, it doesn't matter who else accepts you or not. And it's so funny that we're talking about this, because I was just thinking earlier this morning as I was doing a little bit of journaling, how we often feel the sense of rejection, abandonment, and all these things, but it boils down to one thing: a lack of boundaries.
Yes.
Yeah, it's lack of boundaries, and we expect people to just know, but we open the door for people to just do what they want to do with us,
That's
move
right.
how they want to move with us, because we don't have any. So yeah, I'm glad that you said that. We should not be afraid to have boundaries, even if they need to be hard boundaries.
That's right.
Yeah, and not just with like people you working with, not just, I'm talking about family, close friends.
Yes.
Like seriously,
Yes.
'Cause I cannot imagine. Honestly, if I did not establish hard boundaries, I probably even wouldn't still be married. I'm going on 10 years of marriage, and I'm excited about that. Yeah,
Fabulous.
excited about that. But
Yeah.
I think if I had not established hard boundaries, I probably wouldn't be married.
Really?
Yeah, because people gonna people.
Yeah.
People are gonna people. So
Yeah.
you have to, you have to decide, this is not how I'm living my life. That's not what I'm gonna do. This is not how this is gonna be. And let them fall where they may fall.
That's it.
And if they decide to stand, let them stand.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel just like you feel.
A question then for you.
Come on, interviewer.
We're turning the tables.
Turn it around.
So boundaries really was like a catalyst that helped you get married?
Yes, absolutely.
Speaking for someone that wants to be married, so if you know any single bachelors that love God.
Listen, I'm beautiful. I got my mind is well. All the things.
Yes.
But yeah, I feel like boundaries definitely helped me. I'm the only girl of 8 children.
Okay.
My mom was the only girl, and so my brothers were extremely overprotective and unnecessarily overprotective. And I just think there are a lot of things, variables that play into my family dynamic that are just what you think, what we have thought, and I never thought this way, to be prideful about. It's nothing to be prideful about. It's actually bad. It's actually mean. When we think about acting on certain things, we have family members who want to act on being our protector. They want to act on being our provider. They want to act on being the person who we can trust and all this.
Yeah.
But it comes a point in our lives we have to accept that we cannot be everything a person needs, ever. I may be your sister, I may be your friend, but I may not be able to serve you in this capacity. And when it comes to that place in our lives, there's no reason for us to hate one another or, have major conflict about it. Yeah. It just is what it is. Like, I don't get to serve that space in your life, and it's okay. And I think for me, I just had to accept that I'm not going to allow what you guys are not used to, what you don't know, what you're not even interested in knowing, to keep me from knowing something new. You get it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just refused. Even though I didn't know, I think in dating Brandon and marrying him, I did not know really what to expect, but I knew it was something that I didn't know. But I also knew that it was better than what I knew. So I decided that I was not going to let my family decide, what I would discover for my own life. Because a lot of times we allow people to discover for us.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And they can only discover at what they've discovered. They cannot discover more than they've perceived or conceived or actually experienced. So when people have limited experience, you have to allow them to have limited say-so in your life, because it's not good. And I'm not discounting anybody. I love my family dearly, but I just had to learn early on, like, I can't do that, because I will never experience something better than this. And sometimes when and I'm just talking to my friends out there, sometimes when you know that something on the other side is better than what you're already experiencing, you just feel it. You just know it's better than what you're experiencing. Don't let people who have not experienced better keep you from experiencing better. Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so the boundary.
I love you asking me questions. I love it.
I want to learn.
Yeah.
You've been where I want to go.
Okay, I'm
You're-
with you.
You're where
I'm
I
with you,
want to
sis.
be.
I'm with
right?
you.
So I want to know.
Yeah.
Give me the tea, honey.
Absolutely.
So so was the boundary you had to choose for yourself? Like,
Yes.
this is the life I'm gonna live. It may be
Yes.
different than what your vision is for me, but
Right.
I'm gonna go with this vision.
Yes.
But you didn't know what was.
Yes. I just knew it was better.
You just knew it was better.
I just knew it was better.
Yeah.
I knew, for one, that me having boundaries would make it better anyway, because I couldn't say that we had boundaries. You know, I feel like black people have this thing where I tell my husband all the time, where we're like, well, that's your sister. And I'm not saying all black people, because I don't think the black culture is synonymous. Like,
Right.
all of us have different
We're all
experiences.
different.
But I'm going to say, for me in my house, I used to always hear things like, well, that's your brother, so that means you have to do this. Like, you feel this sense of guilt when you don't move a certain way, when you don't do things a certain way.
Yeah.
Or you don't allow people to move a certain way with you.
Yeah.
You feel this sense of guilt because, that's your cousin. That's your grandma. That's, but at the end of the day, it's not actually healthy for you. It's not good for you. So I just felt like, because I already didn't have good boundaries around me growing up, I knew that having some had to bring something better.
Okay.
So I didn't see anybody making like a hard stop. Like, yeah, that's not gonna work for me. But I was that person. Like, yeah, I don't want to do that. And I didn't let it, how their responses to me affect me. So I had to go for a while with some silence, a fewer phone calls. Or, some people have never even entertained the same kind of relationship they had with me before. I find no offense in it.
Okay.
'Cause
You're able to.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm able to go in peace and joy and real joy. Jasmine, I'm just gonna keep 100 with you.
Okay.
A lot of people are enduring life. I've been writing about this, enduring life. But God has called me to enjoy life. I don't want to be making decisions, just doing stuff that causes me to endure. I'm not. Look at me. Am I giving endure?
No. Ma'am.
I'm not trying to do that. So I'm going to act on the things that I feel like are necessary for me to enjoy the abundant life that God is calling me to. And I don't care how that offends people.
So I'm not here to endure life. I'm here to enjoy life.
Yes. And I'm not saying that, the Bible says that patience produces endurance, or endurance produces patience. But I think it's necessary for us to go through things. I think it's necessary for us to have willpower. I think it's important for us to persevere. But when I do that, I'm going to do it because God is calling me to. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it because God is developing me, not because I'm allowing something to destroy me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just refuse to live like that.
I like that.
Yeah. So acting on it is not just a matter of doing turning that thought into action, but turning the things that we have not yet to experience into a reality.
Amen.
Like, you don't know it, you see it. When I say I didn't know it, I saw other people's lives with boundaries, just going to college and being, exposed to different people and their families. I'm like, I ain't got to live like this. Yeah, actually, this is a better way. It's different.
Yeah.
I could do this. I could do. That's not to say that my family wasn't loving or caring or producing this certain kind of environment. But sometimes when God exposes you to better
Exposure.
it's to give you a better life.
Yeah.
And so I just started practicing some things that I had not ever practiced, but it turned out so good for me.
Clearly.
It turned out.
Clearly.
I've had some things to overcome. I've had some challenges. I've had some things to endure. But I feel like the things that I've done it has allowed me to get to this space now where I really just enjoy my life. I really do. And I've jacked some things up too. I've handled some people the wrong way. I've handled some things the wrong way because my fuse was short. I tend to be the kind of person that I act on it, period. So if you get in my way, if I feel like you're getting in my way, you can get it. Period. You can get these hands. So I've made a lot of mistakes along the way, but I've come to this place now where I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to enjoy my life. I'm going to enjoy it. So whether it's boundaries, whether it's, me accepting that I don't fit or they don't fit, somebody, just the things that's really hard for us to admit, because a lot of times we do life with people that we're forcing ourselves to do life with. Literally forcing ourselves to do life with. Yeah. And it's hard to act on things, but too, because you got people around you can't even celebrate with. You can't even say, I just got inducted into the Museum of Art Society. You can't even do it because you're reading their expression and it's hard. Yeah. Or you have something good you want to share. That handsome guy finally reached out to me and we're doing a date and it's like, you don't you can't even express what brings you joy around certain people. Yet we do life with them because that's just our grandma.
Enduring.
That's our cousin. She's been my friend for 15 years. All the things that keeps us boxed in. But I've been saying for like 2 years now, I'm a box breaker. So whatever that means.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. If I have to come out that box sore, crying, whatever, I'm not gonna stay. I cannot stay within the walls of what people want me to do. So I gotta continue to act. I gotta continue to move. I gotta continue to persevere, and I got to continue to have boundaries. There's no other way.
There's no other
There's
way.
no other way.
When I saw the results of, like, once I jumped over the fear of setting the boundary, and when I saw the result, what happened surprised me. The peace, but you know what actually happened? They didn't leave. They actually started respecting me.
Respect. Yes.
They actually started acting right.
Yes.
They actually
you acting on it, make them act on it.
Right.
Period.
Me acting on it.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
it. That's it.
Yeah.
They started treating me better.
Yes.
I started getting more of what I really wanted out of the situation, out of the person, out of the experience.
Yes. People do respect you better when you have boundaries. Yeah.
When you let them know, oh, no.
Yeah.
Not that. And you're clear. You don't have to be mean.
Yeah, direct.
Like,
Yes.
no, we don't. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Here's what I like.
Right.
Here's what I prefer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, all right then.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought they would walk away.
Yeah.
They wouldn't want to be around me. Of course, that does happen too.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they get it together.
Most
start
people
acting right.
who want to be in your life are going to respect you.
They will get it together.
People who want to be around you, they want access to you, they will learn to respect you and what you desire. I think we feel, a lot of us too, we feel like people are like mean, cruel, because we don't have boundaries. But honestly, if you're a person who never says no, I'm gonna come to you every time. You need boundaries.
That part. That part.
And it may not be that the person is a bad person, but you've allowed them to operate in this way.
Right.
And so now it's becoming like you feel used, you feel tired, you feel drained, but you never say no to anybody. I don't know who's watching, but friends, say no. Say no. Say I don't have the capacity for that today. Maybe I can't show up for you in this way. Could I help you in this way? Instead of just assuming that everybody's a bad friend, everybody's a bad person, you need to sometimes admit that you have a lack of boundaries.
Yeah, you haven't showed them how to treat. You haven't trained them how to treat you.
You have to teach
you gotta
people
train people.
Yes, you have to teach people how to treat you. Because when you don't teach people how to treat you, baby, they gonna act you're gonna be acting on it, and they gonna be acting a fool. Period. They gonna be acting a fool.
They gonna be
you
acting
have
a
got to
fool.
teach them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think if people hear the words like teach them, I'm not a pet. I'm not a.
Right. It sounds harsh. But it's real.
It's real.
The teaching is in us acting on it.
Yeah.
That's the teaching. It's
My
not
husband
like,
has taught me how to treat him. I've taught him how to treat me. My friends, I've taught them how to treat me. They've taught me how to treat them. It's a thing. Like it's just, and it's not about being nasty or ugly or rude to people. It's just about. I think the way you want people to respect you, you respect yourself in that way.
That's right. That's right.
And you don't have to. If you have boundaries, people will have boundaries with you. They will respect you.
They will.
But when you got people just clowning with you and doing anything with you, you have to stop and ask yourself, why is this happening? Am I allowing this? I got to be allowing this if people feel like it's okay. So acting on it is much bigger than turning that thought into an action, but turning our character into what we needed to be to live in this world, enjoying the life that God has called us to.
Yes.
Yeah,
Enjoy
absolutely.
it. I love that. I'm taking that with you.
Yeah,
Putting it right here.
I don't want to endure this. I want to enjoy this. I want to enjoy my life, even the process, like the process from the thought to the action. I want to enjoy. I don't want to be in it mad. I don't want to be in it lacking gratitude. I don't want to be in
frustrated.
Anxiety.
No.
God is not calling me to that. I always reflect on 2 Timothy 1:7. And I always be preaching on Friend Fusion, and I'm not trying to do that, but it is who I am. So anyway,
come on, we want.
But God is not giving us the spirit of
fear.
But He's given us the spirit of power. But God has given us power, love, and a sound mind. Right? God has also not given me doubt. God has also not given me rejection. So all the things that you can feel in that process, I think it's when we start thinking about from turning that thought into action. With all the things that you can feel, like I said, from rejection to depression to inadequacy to the insecurities, God has not given me this. God has given me power, love, and a sound mind. So when I'm not operating from that space, when I don't feel that, it's not him.
It's not him.
So it enables me to enjoy the process rather than being upset about the process. Like, I shouldn't have did this. I trusted God, but now this is happening. You know, God is amazing. He gives us the information on a need to know basis. Because if God told us the things that we would encounter that He's going to use to develop us,
We wouldn't do it.
we would just be like, yeah.
I'm gonna sit down somewhere.
Get somebody
I'm
else to
like,
do
yeah.
it. Get somebody else to do it. But He has a way of just allowing us to start the journey.
Yeah.
And reminding us that He's with us, confirming that He's with us. And when we're like that, we can actually start to enjoy the process because we're sure of Him. We may not be sure of ourselves. Like, I'm always incapable, period.
Yeah.
But because greater is He that is within me, like, I feel like I got this. I can handle this. So
Absolutely.
I'm so glad to have had this conversation with you.
Me too.
I feel like we got some things to act on after this conversation.
Yes,
Yeah?
I do. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking of is what you were just saying. He takes us grace by grace.
Yeah.
To grace to the next grace to the next grace. Like,
Yeah.
it's one situation at a time. Like, we don't have to think about the totality of it all.
Yeah.
It's just know that I have grace for this present
Yes,
moment,
yes.
this present thought, this present thing that I need to act on. And then for the next step, He's gonna give me a grace for that. I don't have to be worried about the next grace.
Yeah.
I know it's gonna be grace by grace by
Yeah.
grace. Just know the grace is there right now.
Absolutely.
Act on it.
Absolutely. You know, you just, before we started, you talked about how Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts' sermon blessed you last week. It changed your life, in fact.
It
So you had something new to act on.
I do.
Yeah, do you want to share that with us?
I do.
Yeah, share it with us.
Yes, so Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts. Listen to, the Potter's House every Sunday and the Bible study on Wednesday. And the last Sunday, it was the mystery of grace.
Yeah.
And it just, I've heard her, and she's always powerful and blesses my life. But she was talking about grace as a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Living in a lifestyle. Like,
Yeah.
give God that exchange. Like, give Him the addiction. He gives you the ministry.
Yeah.
Like, living the grace lifestyle and, like, really giving my life to God. I'm a believer, but there's a difference in believing and then living the lifestyle.
Yes.
And you put it in the perfect words. Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Because I was trying to say it, and then you were like, you hit the nail on the head. It was. So what I'm saying is,
Maybe
like,
it was Mo. He was saying we live in
no,
this world.
you said it.
Oh, I said it?
You hit the nail on the head. It was. So I'm saying, to answer the question.
Yeah.
Is what I got from that, my lifestyle, giving my life to God every day.
Yes, in my decisions.
My decisions.
In my directions. Like everything.
My walk.
Yes.
My everyday walk. Not just, I read my Bible and, I believe, but like my walk every day, my thoughts, the things that come out of my mouth, the thoughts I have, the actions I take.
Right.
Oh no, I'm not gonna do that because I'm living in God's grace. It's not a pass to keep. You were saying that too. It's not a pass to keep doing.
Yeah, to live mediocre.
To live mediocre.
Yeah,
because
not
you
a
know
pass,
God's
yeah.
grace is there to help you and save you and protect you. It's like, no, I don't want to take advantage of the grace.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is just give my life and live in the grace every day.
And the funny thing about grace is that people think that grace is to keep us when we fall, but grace keeps you standing. That's why it's so important to live in the grace, because you get to avoid things that people don't get to avoid because they're not living in that grace. You know what I mean?
That right there, I want to avoid.
Yeah.
I want to, not like we don't know
Yeah.
valleys won't happen. We won't get in
Absolutely.
situations, hard
Yeah.
situations where we gotta like really, like, God, get me out of
But
this.
I want to avoid the instances
I wanna
that
avoid-
I create.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, because a lot of times we're experiencing things that we're creating. And then
Yeah,
we're like,
we
God, can
created.
you just fix this? Can you just, and we're going to get through it because God's grace is sufficient to get us through anything, to take us through
Amen,
anything.
amen.
But at the same time, God is like, you know how much I love you? You ain't got to go through nothing like that.
Like, you could have avoided that whole thing, baby. Like,
Yes.
you didn't have to go over there. You didn't even
I
have to
told
talk
you
to that
to
person.
lean not to your own understanding. Trust me. And I will lead you in the right direction. I'm ordering your steps. You don't take your own steps. You don't have to. You have a God that has graced you for life that you can enjoy, life that you can really, really live in a gracious way, that you get to experience the best of me every day, not the best of you. Imagine that, like you get to live a life when you live in grace. When you decide I'm going to live in grace, you get to live the best of God every day, not the best of you. It changes everything. It changes how you perceive, who you connect with, your conversations, how you eat, how you talk, like everything. It literally changes everything, because today I get to experience the best of God, and the best of God is grace. Yeah.
Amen.
I think that's it.
That's good.
We done had an altar call and everything on Friend Fusion. Friends, thank you. Well, before I close the show, do you have anything you want to say to our friends?
Well, I just want to tell you.
Okay.
Thank you for
Absolutely.
having me, and just God continue to bless you.
Thank you.
Your family and everything.
Thank
that
you so much.
Think of, even aspire to do.
I
That is
receive.
already done.
Yes. I believe
you
it and
so
I receive it.
much.
Thank you, sis. Thank you so much. Well, friends, thank you for joining me and Jasmine for today's episode of Friend Fusion. I hope that you are inspired to act on it. Whether it be a faith, whether it be your thoughts, whether it be boundaries, whatever it is, you can act on it. God has graced you to act on it. Don't think that you cannot do it. Don't let your doubt, don't let your fear or even anxiety stop you from doing and living the life that God has called you to enjoy. Whatever you do, friend, go act on it. See y'all soon. Bye.
Ooh.